What's up, you all? I am very excited to bring to you our sponsor of the Parker Daniels Show, the creators of the Checkered Eye. Now, for those who are unaware of what the Checkered Eye is, stay tuned to the commercial.
Low vision is significantly less than average eyesight, not correctable back to average with regular lenses.
A bit of information can be helpful. The checkered eye gives some information. If you notice someone is wearing it, it means that person has partial blindness, also known as low vision. Go to checkeredeye.com for more information and pass it on. And please, check for the checkered eye. It just adds some understanding.
You know what's up. It's another edition of the Parker Daniels Show. And I tired myself. My monologues are too long, so I'm going to try to make it real fast. But before I do that, I want to say to everyone, thanks for the subscribes, the subscriptions. Continue to do so. Hit that like button. Hit that notification bell so that you can get the updates. As y'all can tell, my voice is still gone. So if anybody has a voice out there that I can borrow, please give it to me. Give it to me. Anyway, today I have a very special guest. It gives me great pleasure. Oh, before I forget, let me say a big shout out to my co-host, Kim Daniels. She's used to this cold weather. I ain't. Anyway, my name is Anthony Parker, so I'm about to jump right into this video. And we're going to bring to you a young lady who I have had the pleasure of knowing for 32 years from Monroe, Louisiana. She graduated from Louisiana School for the Visually Impaired. Man, this lady was on the track team. She was on the cheerleading squad, very active in the student council and other little things that we had going on at the school. And later became a teacher, a wife, a mother, a grandmother, very active in her respective organizations. And the purpose for me bringing this individual on, she's going to fill in the blanks, but for those individuals who have doubts about, about them being impaired, they think they can't do too much, or they feel that they're, enclosed to where they can't go nowhere, do anything. You better think again, because this individual, her name is Angela, is going to prove to you that there is life after being visually impaired, after being impaired in any way, shape, or form. So with that being said, I want to say, I said it last night, a big up to Mike and Koya. They have a page, a YouTube channel where they do vlogs and stuff like that. And if y'all are into that, definitely check them out on YouTube. So without further delay, because I've delayed about 2 minutes, right, Angela?
Good evening.
Okay, so let's bring you in and let everybody know who you are, and talk to them about the things that you're doing, your visual impairment, and how you were, successful in doing what you had to do. What's up? Go ahead. Tell them what your name is.
Okay, my name is Angela Rito, and I know Anthony because he's my class brother. But anyway, I've been successful in my life doing different jobs. I worked at, did some retail. I've done office work. I've done all kinds of stuff. My current, I just retired from school for the visually impaired. Well, I guess about going into the second year now. But my experience has really been good.
Okay.
Bye.
Before we touch on your experience, tell them about your your impairment in terms of how much can you see, or are you totally blind? Because I didn't tell them anything, so let them know about it.
Okay, well, I was born legally blind or visually impaired, however they want to, how they normally do with eye doctors and whatever. But I was born with cataract.
Okay.
And so I guess I see pretty good. I'm able to do whatever I need to do. I do use some large print, and sometimes I read small print.
Okay. Tell the individuals, Angela, though that you are visually impaired, how you were able to persevere and not let the fact that you don't have the 20/20 that everyone, a lot of people have. How were you able to to do the things that you had done, as far as what I had read off, earlier?
I guess I was able to accept my vision because my vision impairment because of my parents. They always have, they made me be independent, where that I had to do everything that everybody else did in my house. So I took that as going into my adulthood. I continued doing things, whatever I wanted to do. If I wanted to go shopping or go into the grocery store, I did that myself. I didn't need to have anyone else to do those things for me. I allowed myself to get out there and just take the challenge.
And I like what you said, taking that challenge, because it is a challenge, especially if you are impaired in what way, shape, or form. What can you say to those individuals who may not have that drive or that the ability to get out and say I want to do it? How can you basically motivate them to say forget about it and do what you got to do? What do you have to say to them?
First of all, you have to be able to accept your impairment, whether you're totally blind or you're visually impaired. You have to be able to accept that first. And then after that, you have to allow yourself to, you got to trust yourself.
That's true.
You might want to walk down the street. You have to be able to trust yourself that I can walk down the street. And, you have to be able to just you can't be scared, because
right.
you're going to shelter yourself in if you're scared. So you have to allow yourself to just trust yourself that I can be independent and do whatever I want to do.
Okay.
It's all about you. It's not about anybody, it's about you.
I like that. Now, especially say trusting yourself. So you hear that, people? Trust yourself. Now, with that being understood and said, give the people a little taste of what it was like in high school, because I did mention the fact that you ran track and you were cheerleader, and people might think, well, how she did that? She can't see too well. Explain to them the details, or was there any special things that you have to do in order to be accommodated?
Well, in high school, okay, because I have done some, I did do some public school, so I did the same thing that I did in public school. And then when I came over to the visually impaired school, I just continued doing the same thing. Like Anthony mentioned to you guys about me running track. Well, when I first started track, I didn't know anything about any track and field, because I was a high jumper. So if you going out there to do high jump, you gotta trust yourself then.
Yep.
Because you're going over a high bar.
Right.
And when you go over that bar, you gotta know that that distance. So that's all about trust. That's all about trusting. But then I just brought all that stuff to the whatever I learned at the school, I kept those things. How to just say, for instance, if you dressing yourself, and I'm a person that I don't like wrinkles, so I had to learn how to iron, and I had to trust myself with that hot iron. And don't get me wrong, because I have burned myself a couple times, and stuff. But I can remember growing up in the dorm. One of the dorm parents, Miss Clara Brown, and nobody couldn't leave out the dorm wrinkle. So everybody had to learn how to iron. Even if you was totally blind, you had to learn how to iron. You couldn't leave your bed wrinkled. You had to learn how to make that bed properly. Though it would be stripped, and you will make it again. So a lot of those things I learned at school, I taught my kids. I teach my kids the same. I taught my kids that.
Okay.
Never walk out the door wrinkled, because people look at you in certain ways. So you want to present yourself in the right way.
I like that. That's great. That's a great point. Definitely. So it's all about, like she said, trusting yourself as someone who's visually impaired or someone who's impaired in general. That's my extra that I throw in. But people do have a tendency to look at you differently, especially if you are impaired. So, you know, I like what she said. Do your best in order, you know, to not bring that much attention, especially to those, you know, who really can't deal with it. But Angela, I've talked with Angela through the years. She's always going some places. She's always in this place. She's always that place. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I'm very proud of her. I'm glad I had the chance to know her. So you said you did go to a public school before then. Briefly tell the people how it was at the public schools. Were you teased, or they accepted you the same way they accepted every other sighted person, or how was that experience?
Well, when you first start off, you know, in public school, you do get a little teasing, you know, and stuff. But I have to, like I said, my mom raising me to be independently, and most of the kids that I went to school with came out of my neighborhood, so they already knew that I had a visually impaired problem. So a lot of them would look out for me.
Right.
Like I would be in class, and I'm like, man, I really can't see this and this before the teachers even knew that they didn't even understand the situation. They knew that I had a visually impaired problem, but they didn't know what to do. But by me knowing people, you know, and those being friends with people, they used to look out for me.
Okay.
And I could recall myself in public school telling the teachers, look, I'm going to need y'all to draw some kind of line so I can see this.
Right.
I need to be closer to the bulletin board. So I'm telling them what I need.
Okay. So,
so
open your mouth.
And it don't work for everybody. Because, you know,
but it's communication is the key.
Crazy.
Communication is the key, though, right, eh?
Right.
You know. So, as I mentioned, you also a wife, mother, grandmother, and what have you. How is the experience as far as you being visually impaired, actively taking on those particular roles? Is it different? You know, is it a problem? Let the people know.
Well, I don't have too many problems because I'm always outspoken, number one. I'm not afraid to say, like when I first started working at LFCI, they would ask you, did you need large print or small print for some of your, like we had meetings and stuff. And I used to always tell them, no, it don't matter. You know, just either one, you know, and stuff like that. But then I came out and I started saying, no, I need large print.
Be specific.
Me being visually impaired, that was just to let them know that, okay, I'm visually impaired, and you need to provide this for your visually impaired employees over there. You know, so I kind of like started speaking out that, no, I'd rather have it in large print, not small print, you know, and stuff like that.
They're not going to know until you talk to them and let them know.
Right, you got to be able to tell them, and, you know, and on certain jobs, they might look at you differently. But I've had so many friends to work so many different jobs. You know, like my brother worked for the Internal Revenue, and he had to do the same thing, and they provided whatever he needed for that job. If he needed a large print or if he needed a certain type of, they provided it. So you have to speak out. You have to be able to speak out.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that, but getting back to the question in which I asked, as far as you being a mother, grandmother, and wife, how hard was it in terms of, you know, providing those particular services as a visually impaired person?
As being a mother and a wife, it hasn't been hard. You know, it hasn't been hard for me. Maybe for somebody else, because one of my kids two of my kids are really visually impaired, and then my husband is visually impaired as well. So the adjustment wasn't a problem, you know, and they both working. Both my kids work in the workforce, and they don't have any problems out there.
Okay.
You know, I say for instance, one of my daughter, she's been a manager for racetrack, and currently now she's a blackjack dealer for the casino.
What? Yeah. And that's the one that's visually impaired?
Mm-hmm.
So that lets y'all know. Stop sitting on your laurels, you know, not saying that people are complaining, but, you know, hey, just because you know, and these people, of course, they're visually impaired, they have some sight, but it doesn't matter. If you have the initiative and the drive and to do it, you know what I'm saying, you just get out and do it, and let your blindness be secondary, you know what I'm saying. So definitely, I want to thank Angela for actually coming on and giving me too, words of encouragement, and letting people know that because of the fact that you are visually impaired, that life doesn't stop here. Before I conclude, are there any other words that you want to say, any words of encouragement that you might want to leave these people with?
I would just like to, within your closing, I just want to say, never let anyone tell you that you can't, because you can. I always say, if you just trust yourself and you put God first, you can do anything that you want to do. Do not let anybody tell you that you can't. I know a lot of people out there hear that, but don't let anybody tell you that you can't, because you can. And you just trust yourself, and everything is going to work out.
Well, I can't trump that, because she said it all. So with that being said, y'all take that advice. Y'all continue to subscribe to the Parker Daniels Show. You're gonna get shows like this, and it's gonna get even better. Getting ready to change up my scenery pretty soon, but definitely I want to thank Angela for coming on to the show and letting us know the power that she has to make her life be what it is. My name is Anthony Parker, and with respect to everyone, thanks again for the birthday wishes yesterday. And I guess I can say that I'm out.